Well, a lot of things moving the stock market today. Tariff retaliations, a lot of bad news, stock market going down. We're going to be telling you guys all the news and everything that you guys need to know about the stock market for the rest of the week and for tomorrow. Give you guys some plays, some supports and resistance to look at, and what to look for. With that being said, the overall week, man, we've been red. Overall month, been red. It's just been insane recently. But with that being said, for the day so far, we still have around 3.5 hours left of market open. But Apple's already down 5%, NVDA down 5%. Broadcom down 7%. Just a lot of big names down a lot. We do got some key stocks. Honestly, one that I've been looking at recently is Netflix, man. That thing's down. We were just at that $1,000 level. Now we're almost hitting that 800. That is insane. But we did see some key movements with the overall SPY and some levels that is kind of breaking through. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more, but let's get into some news and things you guys need to know. First off, some most active stocks. What I like to look at first is NVIDIA. Of course, NVIDIA, Tesla, Ford, and Palantir. These are the main ones that is on this list a lot. But with that being said, we're going to talk about some earnings. So basically, we got Oracle. I think Oracle is a big company to look at. That's what I'm looking at today after close. We did have some companies reporting before. Not really anything major other than that. Tuesday, Dix. I just had to say that. But Dix and Kohl's is honestly going to show you guys, the consumer side and kind of show you guys more about that. So that is going to maybe move the market a little bit on the consumer section. Wednesday, iRobot, that one might move a decent amount. Adobe is a decent one that moves with earnings. We might still move downwards. They got a lot of competition and they're kind of competing with other AI companies. Thursday, Dollar General, we had some decent news a couple weeks ago. Dollar General I think Family Dollar was getting bought out by a company. So Dollar General and I think Dollar Store or something like that. They're both different companies, but those stocks went up a bunch. So we might either see it go up and down. That's another consumer business that can kind of show you guys more insights on consumer spending. But if you guys want, you guys can take a screenshot of this real quick. And yeah, with that being said, the US calendar basically, Monday, we didn't really have anything. March, we got some job openings, the optimism index and job openings on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we got the consumer price index, CPI year over year, core CPI and core CPI year over year. And we also got the monthly US federal budget. Thursday, we have initial jobless claims, producer price index. We got the PPI year over year, and just PPI in general. Friday, we don't really have anything big, but we do have consumer sentiment. It doesn't really look like too much, but I think the CPI and the PPI is going to be moving the market a little bit. But with that being said, we just came out with a video talking about trade wars and tariffs explained. So if you guys want to check that out, we got more in depth with tariffs. We're going to be talking about it a little bit today, but we got more in depth with it with that video today. So if you guys want to go check that out, you guys can. It's okay if not. But with that being said, some other news, we had Tesla stock tumbles over 10%, which is insane. I think we're down maybe 30 or something like that overall. We're down 50% from December 17th, I think. But with that being said, we are falling a lot with Tesla. With that being said, a lot of people are I think they're kind of hating on Elon himself and stuff like that. But with that being said, I'm going to be giving you guys some price actions for the short term and for the long term. I think this is a great stock for the long term, but honestly, if it keeps falling, you can get yourself in at a decent price. And especially when those robots and stuff like that come out, I think Tesla is going to be a great stock. With that being said, we do got stagflation fears coming out too. We're not really quite in stagflation fully. I think last time we were in a stagflation, we were in it for a while, so keep that in mind. But we do have fears of it, and is rattling the U.S. stock markets ahead of key inflation data. So keep that in mind, because stagflation is a potential to come out. But Apple is delaying their Siri AI features, could hold back iPhone sales, and Apple has fell down 5 to 6%. And Apple was kind of that saving grace, or kind of that stock that was kind of holding up the market or the SPY overall. Not really holding it too much, but it was just like the one that wasn't really dipping. With that being said, China strikes back at Trump tariffs with 15% targeting U.S. farmers. So farmers is getting targeted, but we finally have some retaliations with China. We had some over the weekend with Canada with the 25% tariffs, and they're just beefing, man. They're coming after us, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Some other things that I seen was Musk says X is under massive cyber attack. I don't know if this is true. I just kind of seen this, and there's like 2 posts about it, and they're getting retweeted. So it might be true. So keep that on your mind and on your radar. But with that being said, let's get into the charts, man. So we're gonna start off with the overall SPY. Give you guys some price action with SPY. So I was kind of looking at some price action today with the downside. We did get some data come out today and it kind of came up with it, but then we kind of fell below. It bounced off of VWAP basically. I think VWAP, you should respect it. And if it's trading below VWAP, I would not trade against it, you know. So if it's below VWAP, don't buy no calls. And if it's above VWAP, don't buy no puts, you know. Just respect VWAP. That is a thing that will kind of make you win some trades because like you could have traded a call here, you see it go up, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna get a call, and guess what? It bounced off of VWAP, and you just lost a lot of money. So your stop loss probably would have got hit and all that. So, but with that being said, a good decent play. I did play a put option at around 567, and then I think I sold it at around, I think it came up a little bit more, but around that 564 level because I did see it go up. So I just got out, you know, seen profit, take profit. You know, I seen it kind of reversing. You know, I was kind of confident that the reversal was going to continue upwards, but I didn't buy a call, but I was just confident that it was going to continue upwards. So I just took my profit there. Could have held it, made a little bit more money, but it's all good, you know. But with that being said, for tomorrow, I do recommend seeing how it reacts with that 560. I think by the end of the day, it's either going to bounce back up or bounce down so we can see a little bit more numbers. But with that being said, I'm going to be watching that 560 level. And to the downside, I'll be looking at that 559, 558, and 555 for the short term. But for the long term, I do recommend looking at that 550 level and then bounce down even lower to that 555 level. But with that being said, to the upside, a key level is indeed that 561 level, 563, and 565. So keep these levels on your mind and on your radar back to the upside. But I do recommend looking at some short-term plays to shorting this stock because I think that's where you make the most money. Honestly, if we can see how it kind of opened up previously, like we opened up a little bit red, but then it went green, and then we hit a high, and then you can buy a put option here, boom. And then we kind of did the same thing here. You know, you kind of see the market open up, kind of get some highs, and then you can play yourself a little put option there. And with that being said, you can also see it kind of fluctuate. So you see it on this day, it was kind of fluctuating between the 579 to the 576 level around, you know, it's kind of fluctuating. So you can play, you know, wait until it bounces to the highs of the level that's kind of been bouncing on and then buy yourself a little short option. That's kind of what I did on this day too. I kind of like watched it. I think I watched these two lines. The one was high, I bought it here. And then this one was kind of lucky because then it kind of bounced below the low level. So I kind of not won big, but kind of did a decent play with that one, made some profits. But I do recommend just being patient, watch the news as it goes. You know, try to have, you know, a news outlook to look at. I recommend using Twitter if you don't want to spend too much money, because you can just use Twitter and then look at some people's posts. I'm gonna try to keep y'all updated too. If I get some insider news, I do try to post some shorts to get that news to you quickly. But with that being said, Apple did fall. We did have some news with Apple, like I said earlier. And honestly, man, we're getting some Google Apple deal still in DOJ crosshairs. We got Apple iPhone sales growth at risk. So basically the Siri AI delay. So I think the Siri AI delay is kind of breaking down the stock, and just the overall fear in the market is bringing down the stock. With that being said, let's get some 4-hour candles printed real quick so we can look at some supports and resistance. So one that I do recommend looking at is we did break below this level, the 227 level. So watch the 227 back up to the upside. But with that being said, to the downside, I do recommend looking at that 225 level flat and then going down. I do recommend looking at that 221. And then below that, I recommend looking at that 219 level. And then that's kind of for some short-term plays, some longer-term plays. I do recommend looking at that 215 to that 216 level, and then this little red candle that we kind of bounced off before, that 203 to that 200, but that's kind of longer term. And then back up to the upside, I do recommend watching how it reacts to that 227 level once again, and then going up past that 230 to that 233 to the short term. But I don't really think we'll get a little bounce, especially with the way it's been looking with the 4-hour. So just be very, very patient with Apple, man. But we just kind of, I think it's going to just be following with the market, with everybody being scared in the market right now, you know. NVDA, man, we've just been falling consistently. I think we could see $100 by the end of the week if we keep on seeing the sell-off. With that being said, if you guys are trying to invest long-term and get yourself some long-term plays, I'm personally loading up at 100. I'm not saying load up at 100, but I'm personally going to see how it reacts to that 100. And then if we get a break below that 100, you know, I might give it a few days, you know, maybe a few hours, you know, like the day time frame basically. And then if we kind of just play around with that 100, I might load up some of my shares, maybe 20% of what I want to invest in the video overall. and then we'll probably load up some more later on. I kind of got into NVIDIA previously pretty late. I think I got in maybe at that $80 level, like average. That was like my average call. So I sold it when it was at like 140, my long term, because I seen it kind of falling down. So I'm kind of just trying to load back up. I just sold it to make a little bit of profit up at that 140 and then just load back up. So we're gonna make a little bit of profit there. And then honestly, man, if we can see NVIDIA at that 90 to that $80 level, once we start coming back into a bullish trend, I think we could see NVIDIA up at that 140 to 150 level. So I think getting it at that $100 to that $80 is just a good deal. $80 is gonna be insane. That's probably what I'm gonna load up a lot, even if it's still falling. But with that being said, if you guys are looking into that long term, I recommend seeing how far NVIDIA can go, because this is one stock that I do recommend getting in. SPY also, honestly, SPY is a decent one. But with that being said, for the short term, if you guys want to get in some plays, I do recommend looking at it to the downside. So right now we kind of have, like a bounce off of that 106 level as we've seen right here. So I do recommend seeing how we react to that 106 for the rest of the day and kind of pre-market tomorrow. If we can bounce below that 106, 105, honestly, I think dollars for this one, just use that as your support. So 106, 105, 104, 103, 102, 101, and then that 100. That's kind of where I'm looking at it. It's probably going to fight each level as it goes. It's kind of moving pretty slowly. And back up to the upside, the same thing. I think 110 is going to be key. And then back up at that 114 to that 115 is going to be key. Palantir, honestly, man, if NVIDIA is falling, Palantir is going to fall. With that being said, Palantir, I do recommend looking at that $70 level to that $65 level. And to the upside, I do recommend looking at that 78 to that 80, and then all the way up to that $85 level. Tesla, as we've seen before, man, it's just a falling horse. And I think today was probably one of the worst days that we had for a while. So this is kind of insane, like 252 all the way down to 227. And just look at this big candle right here, and then compared to like the other downward candles, like I think this is probably one of the worst days. I think maybe this one was a little bit worse, or maybe the same, or no, okay, this one is probably worse, but we're kind of having the worst days than we had for a couple of days. But with that being said, for Tesla, honestly, man, I think this Tesla can get below the $200 level. Not by the end of the week, I don't think. I mean, it can, honestly. Tesla can move $20 to $30 at a time. But with that being said, I do recommend looking at that 225, 220, and then going down to that 214. 214 is kind of key. I remember that. But 214, 210, and then 205, and then 200. And then if it breaks down below that 200, we can see 95 to 90 the same day. So keep that in mind for Tesla. Amazon, man, Amazon is kind of moving pretty strong to the downward side, but it's kind of holding up a little bit at the same time. So for Amazon, I do recommend looking at that recent bounce of that 191 and then bouncing down 190, 188, solid levels like that. QQQ, I don't really look at this one that much, but I want to start adding it in. But QQQ, we can see it to the downside again. So just watch how it reacts, like I said before, but look at that 470 and then going down to that 468 to that 445 or 465, I'm sorry. And then back up to the upside, look at that 475 level, 476, 477, and then that 490 level long term, But with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new. I hope everybody is having a great day, and let me know how you guys did trading. I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out.